What's up, losers? Today I've got some more posts from r/fatlogic to read and respond to. In a totally mature, even-handed, and productive manner, no doubt. This is episode 56 in the fatlogic series. And I've got some wild posts lined up for you all. So without further delay, let's get into it.
Thin people are almost always bad friends to fat people, because they can't ever get past feeling superior to us. And honey, you are not my superior in any way. The end.
I don't really know what to say to this one. It's obviously a massive generalization, which is an issue in its own right. But I also find the basic premise on which the generalization is based pretty difficult to accept. While I'm sure there are a few thin assholes out there who consider themselves superior to fat people, I don't think this would be especially common, because most thin people have other things that they are proud of outside of their weight, and don't view their simply being thin as some grand accomplishment to flex. Moreover, even among those thin people who do hold some sad notion of their own superiority, most would at least have the social awareness to not reveal this to their fat friends. Like, call me naive if you want, but I can't imagine it being that common for fat people to actually be called inferior by their thin friends, other than at high school, I guess. No, what I think this post is really alluding to is a refusal of the thin people in question to give in to fat acceptance or Hayes dogma, and a refusal to indulge whatever fanciful ideas the followers of these ideologies might have about their weight and its implications for their health. Just because someone you know acknowledges that obesity is unhealthy, or doesn't want to be fat themselves, it doesn't mean that they think they're superior to you. It just means that they're living in the real world. If you insist that your friends convert to your wacky belief system as a precondition of spending time with you, they're not the one being a bad friend. You are. A lot of this feeling that others consider themselves superior is also, I'm sure, born not out of anything that those people have actually said or done, but out of envy. I strongly suspect that a lot of these fat people themselves view thinness as superior on some level, but they feel that they cannot attain it, so they paint the thin people around them as judgmental villains to make themselves feel better about their own failure, which is really sad and uncool. Whether it's finally taking control of your life and losing weight, or giving in, accepting being fat, and all of the health consequences that this entails, it's time to stop blaming other people for your issues, and take a little responsibility. Because that's the grown-up thing to do.
This is your reminder that telling yourself you really shouldn't eat another bowl of ice cream, and then eating it anyway, is still restricting, and this is probably why you're stuck in chaos with food.
Ha ha ha, what? This is just straight up wrong. How is it restricting? If you go ahead and eat anyway, that's like the exact opposite of restriction. Can we make it make sense, please? I swear these posts just keep reinforcing my belief that fat acceptance has become a full-blown religion to some of its followers. No longer is it sufficient to live a life of complete gluttony and uninhibited indulgence. You also have to empty your mind of any impure thoughts, because to consider, for even a moment, that you might be better off refraining from eating something, is to commit an act of sin against the Holy Spirit of fatness. Or whatever. How does one turn a movement that's supposed to be about liberation and acceptance into one that considers it a thought crime to let the mind stray, even for a moment, outside the strict lines of doctrine? That doesn't sound very liberating or accepting to me. It sounds ridiculously controlling, but maybe I'm just missing the bigger picture. I'm also really confused about what the desired alternative is here. Like, if you're not even allowed to think about whether you need to eat something, because that's a betrayal of the cause. Does that mean you have to just run around stuffing anything you see that even remotely resembles food in your mouth? That sounds like a pretty stressful and unpleasant way to live. Not gonna lie, but once again, maybe I'm just not the desired audience.
People don't look at a ripped guy and think, wow, this guy is so strong. He must be some kind of warrior chieftain. What a great guy. Nope, we think, oh, that guy spends a lot of time in the gym. And if we're being judgmental, we might think, oh, that guy's life must be pretty damn boring, if he can devote so much of it to lifting pieces of metal. Guess what? I could go to the gym too, but I'd rather read a book, draw a picture, play music, or talk with friends. I'd rather lead a curious life than a muscly one. In 50 years, we'll all be saggy, but he'll be saggy and boring.
Oh my god. This post actually has all the copes, doesn't it? We've got the classic, people with a better physique than me are boring, have no life, and spend all their time at the gym. Copes, none of which are necessarily true. By the way, for one thing, you have no way of knowing how much time someone spends at the gym just by looking at them. Just because someone is lean or has big muscles doesn't mean they are spending all their spare time at the gym. They may only be going for a few hours a week. Furthermore, even if they are spending a lot of time working out, this does not mean that they are dumb or uninteresting. They probably appreciate the routine, structure, and sense of accomplishment that going to the gym provides them with. Or they may just enjoy the feeling of lifting heavy stuff. These are all perfectly valid reasons for someone to want to work out. And they do not reflect poorly on one's character in any way. But sure, if you want to call everybody with muscles a dumb meathead to make yourself feel better, go right ahead. Then we have the cope of, I could go to the gym too, if I wanted to, but I've got better things to do, which is remarkably self-important. Like, let's be real here. You're not using your spare time curing cancer or some shit. You're probably just sitting on the couch munching on Cheetos. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that everyone needs to go to the gym. Necessarily. I don't go, because there are things that I personally would rather do with my time. But I'm not going to pretend that what I spend my time doing is superior. Because it's not. Most of the time I'm just at home watching cartoons. Or baking cookies or something. Which is not inherently better or worse than going to the gym. It's just different. I can appreciate the accomplishments of my gym-going buddies, including their physiques, because it's something that's important to them, that they've invested a lot of time and effort into, and that they've achieved impressive results in. I'm secure enough in myself and my way of living to admire someone else's successes without making them all about me. But clearly that's not the case for whoever made this post, haha. The final cope about everyone being saggy in 50 years is particularly feeble. Like, no, if somebody continues to go to the gym and maintain the current diet, they won't be able to maintain a perfect physique. But they won't necessarily become saggy, and their health will probably hold out relatively well compared to the rest of the population. As for you, well, if you're already fat, and have no intention of doing anything about it, I hate to break it to you, but in 50 years there's a good chance that you'll be dead. So you might want to reflect on that a little. Overall, this post is just really close-minded and nasty. You don't have to be enamored of muscly people or anything. Different strokes and all that. But going this far to caricature and demean them, for no reason other than that you resent the attention that they receive, just comes across as bitterness. And it's totally unnecessary. Oh yeah, and one more random observation. It's funny how the post gives playing music and talking to friends as two examples of things that they do instead of going to the gym. Like, what do you think people do while they exercise? LMAO, clearly this person has never stepped foot inside a gym in their life. How embarrassing. Actually wait, I have another observation. This is the last one. I promise. Why does this post say, people think this way? No, people don't think that way. You think that way. Most people do have an appreciation for fitness and bodybuilding, which is why they're so popular and receive so much admiration. If you're going to share a stupid take, at least have the courage to own it yourself, rather than acting like it's some ubiquitously held view, when it clearly isn't. Haha. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the posts as much as I did, and that you got something out of my commentary. What do you think? Are most thin people bad friends to fat people? Is thinking about not eating ice cream, then eating it anyway, restriction? Are people who go to the gym boring meatheads with no life? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or it'll take control of your mind and force you to eat endless amounts of ice cream, whether you like it or not. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.